place.
We want financials.
Tell him we going for Canelo next.
Yes. Let's go. Canelo, come on.
You heard it from him.
At 36 years old, Terence Crawford is making it clear that he is only interested in fights that will define his legacy, and right now, none seem bigger than a potential showdown against Saul Canelo Alvarez. For months, Crawford has been eyeing a bout with the Mexican superstar, seeing it as the perfect opportunity to solidify his place as one of the greatest fighters of this era. With his team working tirelessly on his behalf, it seems they have finally convinced Canelo to agree to the fight. Crawford is coming off a career-defining victory where he dominated Errol Spence Jr., unifying the welterweight division and etching his name in boxing history. In that fight, Crawford, also known as Bud, showcased everything that makes him exceptional. From the opening bell, it was clear that Spence, once regarded as his biggest threat, was no match for Crawford. His accuracy, power, and ring intelligence overwhelmed Spence as Crawford controlled every round before stopping him in the ninth. With this victory, Crawford became the first male fighter in the four-belt era to become undisputed in two weight classes. Now, Crawford is setting his sights even higher. After his stunning performance against Spence, he's targeting Canelo Alvarez, a fighter 3 weight divisions above him and arguably the biggest star in boxing. For Crawford, this fight is all about legacy. He's not chasing easy wins or smaller challenges, he wants to be remembered as the best, and a fight with Canelo seems to offer just that opportunity. Canelo, on the other hand, has been hesitant about facing the naturally smaller Crawford, despite Crawford's incredible accomplishments. Canelo has repeatedly downplayed the possibility of the fight, stating that he wouldn't receive proper credit for defeating a smaller opponent. Fighting at 168 pounds, Canelo sees Crawford, who last fought at 147 pounds, as someone simply out of his weight class in terms of size and power. Initially, Canelo dismissed Crawford's challenge outright, even suggesting that Crawford should face Teofimo Lopez first, an idea many perceived as a way for Canelo to avoid the fight altogether.
He wants to fight, he's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better, no? Terence Crawford is a great fighter, he's a good fighter, but like I say, he's a weight classes for a reason.
But Crawford wasn't backing down. As more fans and analysts began calling for the fight, the pressure on Canelo started to mount. Relentless as ever, Crawford continued to call him out publicly, and the demand for the fight only grew. Things took an interesting turn after Canelo's recent bout against Edgar Berlanga. The Mexican superstar faced Berlanga, who many expected to be an easy opponent for Canelo. Although Berlanga was undefeated, he was seen as a heavy underdog and not on the same level as Canelo. However, Berlanga surprised everyone with his toughness and resilience. The fight began as many predicted, with Canelo dominating early on. In the third round, Canelo landed a flush left hook that sent Berlanga crashing to the canvas. It seemed the fight was heading toward an early knockout, but Berlanga had other ideas. He got up, banged his gloves together in frustration, and continued to fight on. Although Canelo won the fight convincingly on the scorecards, Berlanga managed to go the full 12 rounds, something no one expected. The fight ended in a unanimous decision, with the judges scoring it heavily in Canelo's favor. Canelo landed nearly 50% of his power punches, which highlighted his dominance. However, the fact that he couldn't stop Berlanga raised some questions. Canelo hasn't secured a knockout since his 11th round stoppage of Caleb Plant in November 2021, and this marked his 5th consecutive fight going the distance. Some fans began to wonder if the once lethal finisher had lost some of his power. While Canelo's loyal supporters remained devoted, the inability to stop Berlanga certainly added a new dimension to the discussions about his future opponents. Despite his victory, Canelo's focus quickly shifted to what was next. During the post-fight press conference, he was asked about potential future opponents, including Crawford. Initially, Canelo refused to comment on the possibility of facing Crawford, reinforcing his previous stance of dismissing the fight.
Teofimo first, and then we'll see, right? At the end of the day, like I said before, I'm not asking for that fight. They want to make that fight because it's a payday, obviously. But I don't want that fight. I think.
However, behind the scenes, something was changing. The financial offer for a Crawford fight had increased significantly. We remember that Canelo was criticized for the amount of money he was asking for, and that was one reason why his team and even Oscar de la Hoya saw it as unrealistic. But after Canelo's performance against Berlanga, Team Crawford and the Saudis saw Canelo's performance as less than stellar. It was clear that Crawford, with his own excellence, was seen as a serious threat. Perhaps it was this questionable performance that gave Crawford and his team the confidence that he could indeed take down Canelo, making them more willing to meet Canelo's financial demands. As one of the highest paid athletes in the world, Canelo's decisions are often influenced by the purse, and this time, the money on the table seemed to have caught his attention. Now, Canelo is finally willing to entertain the idea of fighting Crawford, but with one key condition: the terms of the fight have to make sense financially. Given Canelo's star power and the fact that he commands some of the highest paydays in the sport, this condition isn't surprising. For Crawford, this could be the break he's been waiting for. Canelo's openness to the fight has reignited the conversation about this potential mega bout. A clash between two undisputed champions from different weight classes would be a historic event, drawing massive attention from fans worldwide. For Crawford, the stakes couldn't be higher. This would be the ultimate legacy fight, a chance to move up 3 divisions and face one of the greatest fighters of the modern era.
Across town, put out an open challenge to you on the internet with Turkey Al-Sheikh calling you out. What's your response to Terence Crawford's call out tonight?
No comment.
While Crawford's focus is entirely on Canelo, there's a chance that Canelo may choose a different opponent. Canelo's camp has other options on the table, with one of the more talked about possibilities being a rematch with Dmitry Bivol, the Russian light heavyweight champion who handed Canelo his second professional loss in May 2022. Bivol's victory over Canelo was convincing, as he used his size and skill to outbox the Mexican superstar over 12 rounds. Since then, Canelo has been
There's a man in Canelo, allegedly recognizes another young beast. Well done on both the
eyeing a rematch, but negotiations have stalled due to Bivol's demands. Interestingly, Bivol has stated multiple times that he is willing to drop down to 168 pounds for the rematch, hoping to prove that his victory wasn't simply due to his size advantage. If Bivol were to move down to super middleweight and face Canelo, the fight would carry a whole new level of significance. However, with Bivol set to face Artur Beterbiev in a light heavyweight unification bout in October, the timing for a potential Canelo-Bivol rematch remains uncertain.
Fight, realistically left your mind once he said he's not interested, or you still pursuing it?
Not at all. I think business talk.